Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something about men that nobody likes to say out loud. Just because a man is acting distant doesn't mean he don't care. Oh no, sometimes that distance, that's confusion. That's fear. That's a man trying to figure out why he can't get you out his mind. See, when a woman leaves her mark, it ain't just on his heart, it's in his head. Let me put y'all up on some game. You ever been with a man who all of a sudden starts acting distant out of nowhere? Like 1 minute he's texting good morning and good night, and the next minute you feel like you're talking to a stranger. He ain't calling, ain't asking how your day was, ain't showing up like he used to. Now I know what most of y'all are thinking. He's done, but let me tell you something. That ain't always the case. See, when a man is really feeling you, when he starts catching feelings he wasn't expecting, that's when some men start backing up. They don't pull away because they don't care. They pull away because it got real. Because all of a sudden, he ain't in control no more. And men, we love control. We love having the upper hand, calling the shots, staying cool. But when a woman shows up and touches something deep, something that ain't been touched in a long time, oh, we start thinking, wait a minute, what is this? Why am I thinking about her all the time? Why does she have this much power over me? And instead of leaning in, what do? We retreat. You see, ladies, when a man's emotions start getting involved, he feels vulnerable. And vulnerability, that ain't something we were raised to deal with. We were taught to be tough, to not show emotion, to keep it moving. So the moment a woman hits a nerve, it's easier to step back than to step up. That's why he starts acting cold. That's why he stops answering with excitement. That's why he gives you one-word reply. It ain't because he's not hooked. It's because he is. And he doesn't know what to do with that. You got to understand something about men. When we feel like we're losing control of our emotions, we try to regain control by creating distance. That's the trick. That's the move. We think if we create space, we'll feel safe again. We convince ourselves that if we back off, the feelings will fade. But what really happens, we sit alone wondering what you're doing, who you're with, and why we can't stop thinking about you. Because the truth is, the pull we feel toward you doesn't disappear just because we put space between us. That man who's acting distant, he's still watching you, still thinking about you, still going through your pictures at night, still talking about you to his friends. Even if he pretends like you ain't crossed his mind, he's probably typing messages and deleting them, probably waiting for you to reach out so he doesn't have to be the one to fold. Because if he reaches out, that's admitting that he still feels something. And his pride, his ego, he don't want that. But deep down, he's fighting a war between what he feels and what he's afraid of. He wants to be close, but he's scared of the hold you have on him. Scared that loving you might cost him his pride. Scared that needing you might make him look weak. So he does the only thing he knows how to do. He pulls back and hopes the feelings go away. But they don't. So when you see a man acting distant after being close, don't always assume it's the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of something deeper than he knows how to handle. Sometimes your presence shook him in a way he wasn't ready for. And now he's trying to figure out how to protect himself from emotions that already moved in. Ladies, if he's acting distant, don't think for a second that he's not hooked. Some men just need time to realize that real love isn't weakness, it's power. And when he figures that out, he'll either come correct or stay haunted by the one who got in his head and never left. Some of y'all are dealing with the man who acts like he's over you, like he's cool, unbothered, and living his best life. He walks around like he ain't even thinking about you. Like what y'all had was just a moment that passed. He'll scroll right past your post, won't like it, won't comment, won't even give it a view you can see, but don't let that fool you. That man is watching every single move you make. Don't get it twisted. He just got real good at hiding it. A man can act unaffected all day, but if you knew what was really going on behind that poker face, you'd be shocked. See, men have a special kind of pride, the kind that says, I ain't gonna let her know she still got power over me. So he holds back. He pretends he's moved on. He stays quiet on purpose. But meanwhile, your name is still in his search bar. Your photos are still saved in his phone. Your laugh still echoes in his head when he's lying in bed late at night trying to act like he don't care. He's out here looking for signs. Signs that you've moved on. Signs that you're missing him. Signs that somebody else might be getting your time now. And when he sees something that hits too close to home, he might not react outwardly, but internally, he's on fire. Jealousy burns. Regret creeps in. And yet he still plays it cool because that's the only card he knows how to play. Let me tell you what a man does when he's hooked but trying to hide it. He becomes silent but observant. You might think he's ghosted, but nah, he's lurking. He's checking your stories from a backup account. He's listening to songs that remind him of you. He's pulling up old messages, rereading the conversations y'all had when it was all smiles and late night laughs. He's pretending he's too busy to reach out, but somehow he's never too busy to keep tabs on you. You ever feel that random energy? Like you just know he's watching even when he's not saying a word? That's real. That's his focus on you. He don't want to be obvious, but he can't help it. You live in his mind like an echo. Every time someone brings up your name, he plays it off like you don't matter anymore. But inside, he's hoping they say more, hoping they slip up and tell him something he didn't know. That man is analyzing your captions, wondering who you talking about. He sees the glow up, the way you carry yourself now, stronger, wiser, unbothered, and it messes with him. He may not double tap that picture, but trust me, he stared at it longer than you think. He may not comment on your success, but he's watching it unfold. And somewhere deep inside, he's wondering why he ever let you slip through his fingers. Men don't always express obsession with words. They do it with patterns. The sudden text after weeks of silence. The random reaction to your story. The birthday message that came right on time. That's him checking the temperature. That's him letting you know, I'm still here. I still see you. You're not imagining it when you feel his energy pulling at you. That's not just nostalgia. That's a man torn between pride and desire, between ego and emotion. He wants to stay in control, but he's losing grip every time you smile without him, every time you post without reference to him. Every time you keep shining despite his absence, he feels that. He might not admit it, he might not show it, but don't ever underestimate the power you still hold. Just because he's silent doesn't mean he's free. Just because he ain't showing love doesn't mean he ain't feeling it. Some men would rather act blind than admit they still see you everywhere. But the truth, you never left his line of sight. You're still the highlight of his feet, even if he watches from the shadow. You ever meet a man who tries to act like you ain't nothing special, like y'all didn't share something real? He walks around with that straight face, playing it cool, acting like you were just another chapter in his book. But what he don't know is his friends already told on him. Yeah, his mouth might lie, but the people around him, they already spilled the truth without saying a word. Let me tell you how you really know you in a man's head. His friends know exactly who you are. Not from Instagram, not from coincidence, not from just seeing you around. They know you because he talked about you. Probably more than he meant to, probably more than he even realized. See, when a man is caught up and a woman really caught up, he can't keep her name out his mouth. It slips out in stories, in jokes, in memory. She becomes part of his language, and his boys, they pick up on it quick. You might meet his homeboys for the first time, and they already know what kind of coffee you like, what you do for a living, and that you hate being called before 9 a.m. They'll smile and act like it's new information, but inside they're thinking, so this is her. Because trust me, if a man talks about you when you're not in the room, it means you've been living in his head rent-free. And it's not always the words. Sometimes it's the vibe. You walk in and suddenly the room gets quiet. People look at each other and then at you like, oh, so she showed up. That silence says more than any sentence ever could. That's the kind of energy that only comes from a woman who meant something. And even if he tried to play it off, they know better. See, men can fake cool all they want, but you can't fake who's been in your heart. You can't hide the fact that her name pops up in every other conversation. His friends notice when he gets that little shift in his tone, that half smile when he says your name, that pause before he talks about you. They can tell when it ain't casual. They know when it's deep. You might not hear from him, but his boys saw the shift. They saw how he checked his phone more when y'all were talking. They saw him turn down other women like it wasn't even tempting. They saw him try harder, be softer, act different. And they remember. Because even if he's trying to act like you're just a memory now, they know what he was like when you were around. And if he's really trying to act like you were just someone, that's the biggest red flag of all. Because a man only tries to downplay what he couldn't hold on to. He's not being honest. He's being hurt. He's trying to protect his ego from the fact that he lost something real. That's why he's quiet. That's why he shrugs when someone brings you up. That's why he tells people, we don't talk like that anymore, but doesn't mention how much that silence is killing him. The funny part, he might even get mad when his friends mention you, like, why are you bringing her up? But what he's really saying is, stop reminding me of what I let go. Because you weren't just another girl. You were the one that shook him. The one that stuck around in his memory longer than he planned for. So don't ever let a man convince you that you didn't matter just because he's going quiet. His friends already confirmed your place in his story. He might not say your name, but they remember it. And somewhere deep down, he knows he made you unforgettable, even if pride won't let him say it out loud. When a man is truly hooked but doesn't know how to express it, he won't always say it with words. He won't come right out and confess he misses you, that he thinks about you nonstop. That every time you post something, it hits him in a spot he can't explain. Instead, he mirrors you. He reflects whatever vibe you're putting out, even if the two of you haven't spoken in days or weeks. That silence you think is just distance. Oh no, that silence is filled with messages he's not bold enough to say out loud. Watch how his energy shifts when yours does. You stop texting him first, suddenly he stops too. You stop liking his posts, suddenly he stops liking yours. You don't answer his last message right away. Now he's waiting just as long to answer the next. That's not coincidence. That's imitation. That's him trying to match your pace without giving himself away. Because even though he's pretending to be over it, he's still studying you. He's still locked into your rhythm like a man who can't let go, because deep down, he hasn't. See, mirroring is the language of someone emotionally tied to you, even if they won't admit it. It's not just behavior, it's connection. A man who doesn't care won't notice your patterns. He won't shift with your moods. He won't match your silence. But a man who's invested, a man who's thinking about you, he can't help it. He starts acting like you. He adopts your tempo. He moves like you move, even from a distance. You'll notice it in the smallest ways. You wear a color he once said he liked. A day later, he posts in that same color. You start posting more confident, bold captions, he does the same. You post a quote about letting go, he posts one about second chances. It's not about who saw it first. It's about who's responding without responding. That's mirroring. That's a man trying to stay connected without being vulnerable. That's his pride, writing messages in silence, because his heart still has something to say. And when you go quiet, when you decide you're done chasing, done checking in, done trying to fix what he broke, watch how that silence makes him uncomfortable. Watch how he starts trying to get your attention without really reaching out. He won't call, but he'll view your story in seconds. He won't text, but he'll post something he knows will make you wonder. He won't ask how you are, but he'll drop a song lyric that sounds a little too familiar. That's not random. That's calculated. That's him hoping you'll break the silence first, just so he doesn't have to admit he's been waiting for you the whole time. You know you're in his head when his moves start looking like your reflection, when he doesn't even realize he's matching you step for step, thought for thought, silence for silence. He might even deny it if someone calls it out. He'll say, nah, it's not like that, but deep down he knows. He knows you set the tone, you set the mood, and all he's been doing since you pulled back is follow your lead. That kind of energy don't lie. That kind of mirroring comes from emotion, from being impacted, from being shook in a way he didn't expect. He's not trying to play games. He's trying to protect his heart while still staying close enough to yours to feel something. Because letting go of you completely, that's too much for him right now. So instead, he moves how you move, and he watches. He watches everything. You're the pace. You're the rhythm. And until he's ready to face the truth, he's going to keep pretending he's unaffected while unknowingly sinking every beat of his energy to yours. Because once a man feels your presence so deeply that even your silence controls his moves, he's already lost the game. He's mirroring you because he can't escape you. You're in his head and he's following a song only you started playing. You ever notice how some men always find a way to pop up when you least expect it? Like clockwork, when you finally start to feel like you're moving on, When you stop thinking about him every morning and night, boom, there he is. Out of nowhere, a random message, a hey stranger, a just checking on you. And you sit there thinking, why now? Why this moment? I'll tell you why. Because he ain't gone. He's been watching. He's been feeling your absence. He's been quiet but not disconnected. He's checking in because he's trying to make sure you're still there. That check-in ain't about conversation. It's not about him needing anything from you. It's about presence. He wants to know if the door's still open, if your heart still beats a little faster when you see his name pop up on your screen, if you'll still answer, if he still has access to you. That message at 11:47 p.m., that's not accidental. That's a moment of weakness. That's a man sitting in his silence, wondering if the woman he tried to stay cool about still thinks about him the way he thinks about her. See, a man who's really done doesn't need to check in. A man who's moved on ain't sending those random how you been texts. That's not closure. That's curiosity. That's his ego needing a little boost. He wants to know if you still care. He wants to hear your voice without having to admit he misses it. So he hides behind casual words and nonchalant questions. But that message, it ain't casual. That's him making sure you haven't fully closed the chapter, because in his heart, he hasn't either. He'll say he was just thinking about you. But why now? Why after 2 weeks of silence? Why after you posted a picture with a new smile, a new glow, a new kind of peace? It's because he felt that shift. He felt you pulling away. He sensed that you were no longer waiting, no longer wondering, no longer needing, and that scares him, because even if he ain't ready to give you the love you deserve, he ain't ready to lose the connection either. He wants to stay in your orbit, close enough to feel you, but far enough to avoid vulnerability. He doesn't want to dive back in, but he doesn't want to be forgotten either. So he shows up in small ways. A like here, a comment there, I saw this and thought of you. That's not coincidence. That's a man who's checking your temperature without stepping in the fire. He wants warmth without the burn. And that's the problem. He wants the security of knowing you're still there without giving you the security of knowing he is. Those late night texts, those midday check-ins, those I heard this song and thought of you moments, that's not just nostalgia. That's a man trying to keep your memory fresh, hoping that maybe, just maybe, the door hasn't fully closed. He's fishing for reassurance. He's hoping to hear you say you've missed him too, but he won't say it first. He won't admit he needs you, not with words. So he pokes, he taps, he checks, just enough to stir something up, never enough to fix what he broke. He's not gone. He's just hiding behind the illusion of space. He wants to be the one who left, but also the one who gets welcomed back if he ever decides to return. So, don't mistake those random check-ins for care. They're not always about love. Sometimes they're about control, about pride, about a man needing to know he still has a place in your heart, even if he doesn't know what to do with it. And the truth is, he's not checking on you because he's healed. He's checking because you were home and now the lights are off. That silence is loud. That door he used to walk through like it was his is shut now. And even if he ain't knocking yet, he's still standing outside, wondering if you'll open it again. Some men are real good at pretending they've moved on. They'll go out with their boys, post pictures like life is perfect, smile wide for the camera like nothing's missing. But behind all that, you're still there. You're in his thoughts. You're in his mind so deep he can't shake you. Even if he tried, he might not ever say it, but trust me, You left an impression on him that he cannot erase. He thinks about you when he hears a certain song, when he drives past that place y'all used to go, when he sees someone laugh the way you used to. You're a ghost that follows him around in daylight. He might laugh out loud at something, and for a second it reminds him of how you used to throw your head back when you really found something funny. You ever been with someone like that? Someone who won't admit it but can't deny it? That's what this is. He could be sitting with someone else, trying to enjoy the moment, but you still the comparison. You're the standard. You're the one in his rearview mirror, and no matter how fast he tries to drive forward, you show up like a reflection he can't dodge. He might say he's fine. He might say I've moved on, but let him get quiet. Let him be alone. That's when your name echoes the loudest. A woman who leaves an emotional imprint can't be erased. And some of y'all did just that. You left your fingerprint on a man's soul. You didn't just pass through. You changed something. You taught him something. Maybe you showed him what real love looked like. Maybe you made him feel seen in a way he never felt before. And now he's trying to act like you didn't matter, but inside he's still holding on to the feeling. He remembers things you forgot. Little things like how you like your tea at night. That one movie you hated, the way your voice changed when you were excited. He holds those details in a place he doesn't even let other people see. Because when a man's been affected by a woman on that level, it don't fade, it sits in him. Even in silence, even in stubbornness, he could be trying to replace you, dating someone new, keeping himself busy, filling his days with distractions. But no matter what he does, you're still the one that shows up when he closes his eyes. You're still the one that shows up when he's tired of pretending. That's what happens when you love someone from a real place. You leave behind a piece of yourself they can't shake off. And sometimes he wants to reach out. He wants to tell you that he still thinks about you, that you still matter, that he misses what y'all had, but then pride steps in. Ego pulls him back. He thinks, what if she's over me? Or what if she doesn't care anymore? So he says nothing. He carries the weight of your memory in silence, hoping one day it won't feel so heavy, but it does. It still does. He could see you across a room and act like you don't exist, but his heart skips, his mind races, because he never really let you go. He just tried to bury the feeling. But love like that, it don't stay buried. It shows up in the way he hesitates before speaking your name, in the way he flinches when someone brings you up unexpectedly, in the way he still checks your page when he thinks no one's watching. You left something in him he can't replace. That's why you're still in his thoughts. That's why he keeps replaying what went wrong. That's why no matter how far he tries to run, he ends up circling back to the memory of you. Because some women don't fade, they echo. And you became the one his mind won't let go. Even if his mouth never says a word.